Okay. We have a few early joiners.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
I'm just going to give it a few minutes for everybody to join.
Yeah. Can see a few people there. Hi, Kyria. Hi, Brimilda. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Nat. Let's give it a little bit longer.
People. Oh, hi, Bilal from Mykonos, like you.
Very nice.
It does feel like Mykonos here today as well. It's quite warm.
We've got some sunshine. Finally, our summer.
Yeah, we don't have the views in the sea, but we have the temperatures.
Yeah. Hi, Rob. Hi, Julia. Actually, now is probably a really good time as well, just to remind you all of the September competition that we have running. So there's still a chance to be in the running. We've got 2 fantastic prizes up for grabs. The first one is a holiday worth £3,000, and that's either to 7 nights in Cyprus or 4 nights in New York with a Statue of Liberty cruise as well. And all you need to do to be entered into that competition is to complete 50 bookings throughout the month of September. The other prize we have up for grabs is a £1,000 holiday, and you can pick from 2 nights in Cornwall at the Scarlet Hotel, which looks absolutely gorgeous, or 2 nights in Barcelona. And to be eligible to enter that competition, you just have to have 50 hours of availability in your calendar throughout the month of September. So there's still a chance to win both of those, so good luck. And if you decide that maybe you've had enough of holidays this year, you can take the cash instead.
Oh, I wish I was a qualified therapist just so I could enter as well.
Me too. Me too. Cool. Hi, Hitanshu.
Great. Okay, I think we have about 44 people who've joined already. So should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started. So thank you for everyone for joining us today. And also just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who took part in the pricing surveys and had chats with us about this issue. We know that it's a topic that's quite sensitive, and it is one that we're really keen to get right. So just thank you for everybody for their input. So I think without further ado, I'll pass over to Yusra and we can get started.
Thank you, Louise. So hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Yusra. I've been with Urban for 2 years now. I started initially as the beauty general manager. And since about a year now, I'm a commercial director. So what that means is I look over marketing and operations in the UK mainly. And so, yeah, we've been doing quite a bit of work over the last month or so, trying to review our pricing. I know it's a topic that you've all brought up, whether in our calls with you or on the forum. So we thought it was important to pick it up now that we've reopened and we're kind of back to normal. So we're able to just, have enough data to make the right decision about this. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen. Great. I would suggest that if you want to see this properly, maybe you put it on full screen, just so you can see some of the numbers that we're going to go through a little bit better. So before we start, just a little bit of context. So why are we doing a pricing review? We've had repeated feedback from you, as I was saying. We also have kind of new supply-demand dynamics since reopening. So we're seeing actually a lot more demand than what we can service. So there are a lot of people out there that want to book our services, but we don't necessarily have enough of you guys and enough time on the platform to serve all of that. So that creates a slightly different marketplace for us, and it means we can change pricing a little bit. We also saw an opportunity for you and for us to recover a little bit faster from the pandemic. And so just a little bit more context around how we did this project. So if you remember, in July, we sent you a survey asking about your costs. So we wanted to understand how those costs have changed since COVID, and then also assess kind of like how much it costs you to deliver each treatment. The results from the survey, and bear in mind this is an average, so if your personal costs aren't exactly within this range, it's fine. It's just that from all the answers that we gathered, it looks like it costs between £10 and £14 to fulfill every single booking. So that was very helpful for us to understand, at what level of earning we should be, trying to guarantee for you. And then we moved to gathering some qualitative feedback. So we opened up the phone lines and spoke to a few of you to collect some specific feedback around, the price by length of treatments, the peak and off-peak prices. We also wanted to compare how the payout from Urban compares to what you get from your private clients from other platforms. And also we discussed with you some other pricing features, so parking service areas, etc., and introducing some surcharges. I just want to say at this point, thank you so much to everyone who's participated in this. It's been really super, super helpful to us in understanding a bit more about what you consider to be a fair price and what would be a fair price considering your costs. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And hopefully you'll see that we've taken that into consideration in the new pricing that we've established. After that, so after this initial consultation phase, we started working on the pricing, so implementing the changes that you guys suggested. Then we ran a customer survey to understand how much the customers are willing to pay. This wasn't with Urban customers, it was actually with everyone in London who lives in a 50K plus household and who has booked a massage in the last 6 months. So it gives us an unbiased opinion from not necessarily just Urban customers, but everyone, of how much they are willing to pay. And now, so in September, we are planning the rollout. So just to give you a bit more of an idea of timings around that. So later today, we are going to switch the prices for Monday onwards to the new pricing. So anyone who books from this afternoon for Monday onwards will book at the new price. And then just a bit more detail on kind of like the feedback that we gathered from you. So these are the main learnings. Obviously, there was a lot in what you shared with us. I just tried to summarize it here in like the recurring themes. So there was the issue of the earnings for the 90 minutes and the 120 minutes, which you said were too low. Some of you questioned why we were given a discount, especially when it's more physically draining to give some of these longer treatments. And also for the 120 minutes, the thing that really came through is that you guys don't like doing 120 minutes, or a lot of you don't like doing it. So why are we giving a discount and encouraging people to book it in that case? The other kind of main theme was around the prices for extensions. So the 30-minute and 60-minute extensions on the spot, so during the treatment, which you mentioned the split for was unfair. So Urban takes between 45 and 50% of those extension prices. So that we've noted that as well. Then the standard and off-peak pricing also came through as being too low. And finally, you mentioned to us that other apps, and also with some of your private clients, you charge more or you earn more through that. So all of that has been very useful, and we've taken it into account. There were a few other topics mentioned as well that are not directly related to pricing, but do link to it. So around parking, service areas, and as I said, like having surcharges for these things. We'll come to that later on. Then just a little bit of definitions and to give you an idea of what we can do right now and what we cannot do. So right now, our current system and our tech and how it works allows us to have different price per treatment, different prices for extensions, different price by time of day and day of week. So that's the peak off-peak structure, and different prices by city. What we cannot do, unfortunately, at this stage is different prices by service area, different prices by experience level. So for example, pros who have done a certain number of bookings earning more. We cannot do surcharges, so parking and congestion charge. This doesn't mean these are things we won't do in the future. It just means they take a little bit more time, because it would mean a lot more work from the engineering team to work these things into our system. So we are keeping this feedback. We will be working on it, and we will try to give you timelines as soon as we've planned that in. But for now, that's not something that we can do in the immediate future for this price change. And then again, continuing with the definitions, what services will be affected by this price change? So you can see here, it's all of our non-curates massages. So Urban Classic Deep Tissue, all of the, like our standard massages that are currently at the basic price. I've added into that Essential Deep Tissue and Essential Sports, just as a note in case we do go into another lockdown. Fingers crossed that we don't, but they will also be at this new price. The things that won't be affected are the treatments on the right, so the ones that are curates treatments, branded treatments, and injury and pain management. So we'll be looking at those slightly later this year. And just a note on that, why we do it this way is because it's much easier and faster for us to stagger these changes rather than, like take 3 months to work on everything and then, delay the changes until we've sorted out all the pricing. Okay, so how things will change. First of all, we're changing the peak and off-peak structure. So as you can see, we've completely removed off-peak. So, that's not going to be a price that we offer anymore. We have also slightly simplified things. So instead of having, standard peak and super peak, we're just going with 2 main price ranges, the standard and the peak. The way that we did this is we looked at the times that are the most booked up, and evenings and weekends typically we are like 90%, if not more, booked up. So those are the times that we put as peak. The rest of the times are standard. Okay, so this is the new grid. I'm just going to do a quick reminder of what the current pricing structure is. So this is the current pricing structure for the basic massages. And as you can see, I've pointed out here the things that you said you weren't happy with. So the prices for off-peak and standard, which were too low, the 90-minute as well, the 120 minutes, and then the extensions that you can see here at the bottom, which is where you pointed out that the Urban Commission was unfair and a bit too high, especially given that these are kind of sold on the spot by you guys. So actually our commission should be lower on these extensions. And now, little drum roll, the new pricing. This is what it looks like. So as you can see, simplified, only standard and peak. So you can see here the customer price at the top, then your payout and the urban fee. On the right, you see how this differs compared to our current pricing structure. So the lowest payout you will have will be £47, and that's for the standard 60-minute massage. I've compared it here to the old standard, so it's £5 above the old standard massage. If you actually compare it to the old lowest pay, which was the off-peak, which was £39.50, it's actually at £10.50 more than the off-peak. So yeah, so we've really tried to take into consideration everything that you've said. A lot of you talked about how like around the £50 mark is an acceptable payout for 60 minutes, and then around, as close as possible to £70 is acceptable for 90. You'll also see that we're not discounting the 120 minutes anymore. So for standard at 60 minutes, it's £68, and for 120, it's double that for the customer. So yeah, we're not discounting it anymore. The peak one is just slightly lower than double the £74. It's just £2 lower, but that was just so that we can have like a nice little £10 increase between the standard and the peak. One other note on the Urban Commission. So you will see here that we've actually decreased our commission on a few different things. The first one to note is obviously those extensions that you mentioned were, we were taking an unfair cut on. So we've significantly discounted our commission on that. So you'll see that on the 60, 90, and 120 minutes, our commission varies between 29% and 31%, while here we're more around the 20% mark. So yeah, that's kind of the main changes that we've made. The one thing to note is you'll see that for the peak, which is now at £74, we have increased our commission by £3. It's still a 30% commission that we're taking, but the reason we did this is, well, based on your feedback, the £51 is already kind of like an increase from what you're currently earning. You'll see on the next slide how your earnings will change and ours will change. But we had to do this increase for it to be commercially viable for us, and for us to still maintain our earning, because we decreased our commission a lot on other times. So hopefully, this sounds like a fair deal to you. And just so, in terms of the estimated impact, bear in mind this is a total impact that we calculated based on a month of revenue. Urban will make about 1% more revenue. Therapists will make about 7% more revenue on average every month. I am going to move to the next slide, but I will come back to this one later on just to take questions, and so that we can have it in mind when we're discussing your questions. But just to give you an idea of how your earnings will change. So I did a little case study here. Don't try to match it to any therapist. It's a little bit of a theoretical one. I did base it off some specific therapist's earnings, but I did change it slightly. So this is not someone in particular. But so this is a therapist that adds about 93 hours a month, who does about 65 bookings a month. And this is how they distribute their availability. So this is a number of slots. So this is someone who works mainly afternoons, a little bit in the evenings, up to 9 p.m. Their earnings with the old price were about 2,500 a month. This is how much they would earn with the new pricing, so a little bit over £200 more a month. So over a year, it could be up to £2,500. Unfortunately, I cannot do like a particular simulation for each and every one of you, as much as I would want to, but you will receive some emails later today with a little bit more detail about how this might apply to your earnings and how much more you can expect, each and every one of you individually from this price change. So then, just in terms of next steps, so as I said, we're planning to roll this out to customers at 2:30 p.m. Today. So this means that anyone booking from today at 2:30 p.m. for the Monday onwards will book with the new price. So the new prices will take effect from Monday. We're also announcing the change to customers on the 13th of September, so on Monday. We will adopt a very transparent approach. So we'll tell them exactly kind of like how much is going directly to the therapist and how much Urban is keeping. So we want it to be as transparent as possible about this. And we really think that our customers will be happy to pay more if they know that most of that increase is going to you guys. We'll keep working on Manchester and Birmingham pricing. So all of this is applicable to London only, but we are in the process of finalizing pricing for Manchester and Birmingham. We're targeting a release end of October. And then we will be reviewing later this year and up until January the prices for branded massage, beauty, and physical well-being. We'll be aiming to release them in a staggered way, as I said, between November and January, just because it's a lot more efficient and faster this way for us than just doing everything and releasing everything in bulk, which would be a little bit more complicated. So that's it. That's what I had to share with you today. I think we will move to your questions now. And as promised, I'll just go back to this slide, which I think has most of the main information from this webinar. So yeah, Louise, over to you. I don't know if you've seen already some questions coming through. I haven't been looking at the YouTube. I was focused on my slides.
So we've got lots of happy people in the comments. Everyone seems really, really pleased with the changes.
Nice.
We've got a comment there from Nats. Yeah, Nats, just to confirm that these are not for previous bookings. It will just be bookings made from 2:30 today for Monday onwards. So a question that's come in offline is, why isn't pay higher for 90 minutes?
Okay, so the 90 minutes was a really tricky one, because when we did the customer survey, what came through is that there's a real psychological threshold at the 3-figure mark. So £100 basically, we think will significantly impact the number of bookings that we get. So that's a slightly risky move to go over that £100, which is also why, as you can see here, the difference between the standard and peak is not as significant as for the 60 minutes. It's because we couldn't go over that £100 mark. At least that's what we gathered from the user data. So we tried to, by lowering our commission, bring you guys as close as possible to £70, which is what you said in the interviews was an acceptable rate for 90 minutes. We will, however, depending on how demand reacts to this, this doesn't exclude kind of like a future increase beyond the £100 mark. But we just need to be a little bit cautious about it, because the 90 minutes still accounts for about 25% of bookings. So it would be kind of like a significant loss if we were to cross a psychological threshold there.
Cool, thank you. And then we've had a few questions around things like, can we do higher pay for more qualified therapists, or therapists who have been maybe working on the platform for a little bit longer, or those that work in central London locations?
Yeah, so these are things that we are currently looking into. I do agree that we do want to reward the ones of you who are the most loyal to Urban, who've been working with us for a long time, who managed to have quite a lot of repeat customers. So we're just looking into the best way to do this. We basically have two options. There's like an option that would take quite a long time to implement, which is having a different pricing. And also, it's very hard to predict how customers will react to that by having like a higher price for more experienced therapists. The other option is to do it on a bonus basis. So when like you hit certain milestones and certain numbers, we just pay you out a bonus for getting to that level. So these are the different things that we're currently discussing internally and considering that we'll be reviewing over the next few months. And to be completely honest with you, probably more something for early 2022 than this side of year. For kind of like service area pricing, so having a surcharge for going into the congestion charge area or going with a new les and for parking. This is also something that, as I mentioned, came through the interviews with you, and we'll also be working with our tech team to see how we can work that into our pricing. We are currently going through a big project of kind of changing a bunch of things in the way people book with us and how they pay, which will allow us to introduce surcharges in the future. So we're just laying the groundwork for that, and then we'll go back to it once we have the tech capabilities to do it.
Thank you. Alicia asks, how are we doing anything to stop customers booking a 90-minute and 120-minute for 2 people instead of 1 person?
Yeah, so I think that's more of a policy issue from our side. We need to be a lot clearer with the customers that a booking is for 1 person and cannot be split between 2 people. So for the 120 minutes, I think this will be solved by the fact that now the price of 120 minutes is basically 2 60-minute massages. So people have no incentive of booking 120 and splitting it across 2 people. They can just book 2 60-minute massages and it's exactly the same price. Then what we're going to do internally, and this is something we need to review with a few different teams, and particularly with customer support and with our marketing team, is just clearer labeling and also explaining to you guys what you can do if that happens. To be completely clear, if that happens, you do not have to accept to do the booking. And if we will charge the customer and we will pay you for your trouble. But you do not have to treat two people if the customer is booked for one person.
Yeah. Another question, which is probably more again like policy based from Bilal, is there a way to make the cancellation policy more flexible from our side?
Yes, so this is something that we're working on within a bigger project, which you've heard of, I think, already. If you haven't, check out the video that Thomas shared on the community forum. So we're working on this request to book feature, which is something that will basically allow you to have a different type of availability. So you'll have the kind of the availability that you know and that you use today, the instant book, where you can't cancel a booking, like it's instantly confirmed. And then you will have another type of availability, which is a request to book availability, where you can decide to accept or decline a booking. So that hopefully should help solve the issue of kind of like the stricter cancellation policy.
Great, thank you. We've got a comment from Dominique, who asks, can bank holidays be paid the same as Sundays?
So we do run incentives for specific bank holidays where we know that there's going to be a high demand. The difficulty for us is that we cannot change our pricing for a specific day. So we can't say, oh, just for this Monday, we are going to be applying the price for the peak, for example. So it means every time we run an incentive for a bank holiday, we take a hit as Urban on our earnings. So the way it works is we try and predict how many orders we're going to have, so how much volume and how much uplift. And if we feel that the uplift in volume is enough to justify us giving a higher payout to therapists, that's what we do. We just don't do it when the kind of predictions show that we're going to be making a significant loss. Unfortunately, that's not something that's in the system right now, that we can kind of apply the peak pricing to a specific day and then remove it. It would be too complicated. But I think it is definitely like good food for thought and a good suggestion. So we'll add it to the list of things we'll be looking at.
Absolutely. And then what about 120-minute treatments? What happens if a therapist doesn't want to do a 2-hour booking? I know that comes up quite a lot.
Yeah, I know. So just to clarify and to explain again how the durations work, right now, like a duration is attached to a treatment. So for example, an Urban Classic can be booked for 60, 90, and 120 minutes. Pregnancy massage cannot be booked for 120 minutes. It's attached to the specific treatments. In order for us to make it attached to specific therapists, that would be like a big change in the system. So again, like having a limited engineering team, we have to prioritize the different projects that we work on. So for now, the only solution really is to put your availability in a way that you can make sure you're not going to be booked for 120 minutes. But just to put things back into context, 120 minutes is about 2% of the total bookings that you get on Urban. So it doesn't happen that often. And most of the time, if it's something that you physically cannot do and you receive a booking, especially if it's in advance, feel free to contact customer support and just say, hi, I physically cannot do this 120-minute massage. And a lot of you cannot do it for because physically you can't, because there are specific limitations at that specific point. You're pregnant, you have an injury, something that doesn't allow you to do it. So in that case, just contact us so that we can find someone else to do that booking for the client.
That's great. Julia's asked if you could go back to the standard and peak time slide again.
Yes.
And Nats has asked the question as well. Does Urban predict a high booking rate now schools have reopened? And what's the best time to open our diaries?
Yes. So in terms of the booking rates, we definitely predict it's going to be higher with the back to school, there were quite a lot of customers that were away during the summer. And actually, the seasonal dip that we usually see every summer was even higher this summer because people didn't travel this year. So if you look at the statistics from Heathrow Airport, which is what we look at to predict kind of the holiday seasonality, you'll see that the kind of like the increase in airport traffic has been much steeper than any other year during the summer. And that's probably because there was a lot of pent-up demand for traveling abroad. And obviously there's traveling in the UK as well. But clearly there were a lot more people going away than during previous summers. So now we will see all of those people coming back, and we are running a few different things to make sure that, you know, we bring back any customers that we lost over the summer. Cool. So, and in terms, sorry, the other question was times of day. Definitely. Afternoons, evenings, and weekends. Evenings and weekends, especially. That's why we put the peak price there, because that's where we see the most bookings coming through.
Yeah. And Bilal asks, is there a way to add first come, first serve that will help new joiners pick up some bookings if the client doesn't have a specific therapist?
First come, first served, as in sending a list of kind of like pending bookings, and then you can select them. There's a little bit of a lag with the YouTube, so I'm just going to answer that question, and then Bilal, if you mean something else, I can go back to it. But currently, we don't have that. What we're trying to do to help newer therapists is we have the new hero discounts. So, you know, customers can book you at a lower rate for your first few bookings. We do also, you know, try to push that via email. Like if you're new and you're serving a certain area that is quite busy, you know, you will go into emails for people that are likely to book you. So we do like a few personalized emails like this, so people will see you. It does, I know it can be a bit frustrating, and it does take a little bit of time to kind of like gain that traction on the platform and you know, build like a steady stream and a recurring base of new users. But we have seen, especially recently, when demand is so high, that within a month, if you put in the hours, you're going to, you know, manage to hit kind of like the first milestone and the second milestone. So first milestone is like 5 treatments. Second milestone is, you know, 10 to 20 treatments, and you'll definitely get there. And once you've hit those 20 treatments, it kind of like, it's a virtuous circle, basically. As soon as you have 20 treatments, people notice your profile more, they'll book you more.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nats wants to know, are we thinking of running a loyalty or membership program for clients?
Yes, so we do have one at the moment. It's just slightly secret for a very, very specific reason. So right now we have clients who we have 3 different tiers of membership. The basic one is they commit to spending £62 every month, and they get an 8% discount on any bookings that they do, whether it's within £62 or over. They get that like permanent discount. The second tier is £109 and 10% off. The third tier is £159 and 12.5% off. Obviously, Urban takes the hit on all of those discounts. So the reason why we're keeping it secret is we only show it to people who we know are going to increase their frequency of booking, so that we can still make some money and not lose money out of those people. What we're going to do recently is we're going to, in the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at, okay, so what's the actual cannibalization risk from making this open to everyone? And specifically people who are booking every week or more at the moment, so who cannot increase their frequency, who we will be giving 12.5% discount to. How do we make sure that that loss of revenue isn't too big and doesn't jeopardize the continuity of our business? So that's why we're keeping it a secret for now and just showing it to selected people. But we'll be exploring whether we make it transparent and available to everyone very soon.
Great, thank you. And then just a question on the case study. Somebody has just raised a point and said that they only work during the day, that they don't do evening hours. How would that affect them?
So you will still see an uplift and an increase of your earnings. Obviously, I couldn't do, like, as I said, specific case studies for everyone, but you will receive an estimate of how much more you will be making by email. That's a little bit more personalized and tailored to you. But you will be making more even if it's during the day, because we've removed this off-peak pricing here completely. And the standard price has increased as well. So if I go back to, this grid here, you'll be making at least £47 per booking, when before you would have made between £39.50 and £42. So it's still going to be a significant increase for you, even if you only work during the day.
Yeah. And Bilal has just asked, can we have a discount for us as therapists?
That's a good question. I've always assumed that you did have a discount. But yeah, I'll confirm that with the team, and we can get back to you on that.
Yeah, good idea. Great. So just having a look, I think that's all the questions from you guys so far today, unless anybody has got anything else they want to share with us.
We'll give them a few minutes just because of the lag on the YouTube stream. But yeah, hopefully you're happy with these new prices. I would like to just put a little caveat on this, is that we will be assessing over the first 2 weeks, so the week of the 13th of September and 28th of September, how customers react to these new prices. As you can see, it's quite a significant increase on the customer side as well, especially if the customer was someone who booked off-peak at £57, and all of a sudden the entry price for them is £68, so that's £11 more. So I think from the research that we did that we're pretty safe. But if after these 2 weeks we see that there is like a huge drop in customer demand, we will be reconsidering these prices and trying to make some changes. I do want to reassure you though that we will still aim to stick to the minimum earnings that you said you thought were acceptable for you. So there might be another change, but you'll still be earning more than what you're currently earning.
Yeah. And just a question from Joy. Will beauty facials, will their pricing be reviewed as well?
Yes, so we'll be reviewing all beauty prices. We wanted to split massage and beauty just because for beauty, there are so many different services with so many different prices. So I just want to do it right. I just want to take the proper time to think about the different verticals and the different services. But yeah, we will be reviewing them. We're aiming to make the change either towards the end of this year or beginning of 2022.
Great. Just see if we've got any more questions coming in. Hitanshu is asking, what do we do if a customer asks for their phone number?
So obviously as Urban, we advise not to give your phone number to a customer for 2 reasons. First of all, the continuity of our business depends on therapists like you working with us on a regular basis, and it's also that's why it's part of our partnership agreement that you shouldn't be taking customers off platform. So if you do that, there is a risk that your contract with Urban will be terminated for this intermediation. Then the other thing is, I would say, depending on your private practice and your standards, there's always a risk if you're going direct with the customer. There's a higher risk basically in terms of safety, because the customer feels like it's a person-to-person relationship as opposed to a person to a company. So it's in my opinion safer to go through Urban than to go off platform. You also have security of pay with us. The customer pays directly through the platform. You're sure you're going to receive your money after your booking, which isn't guaranteed with the customer. Plus, not to mention all of the other admin things that we take care of. So yeah, don't give your phone numbers to customers, basically.
And Hitanshi says, how do we politely decline? But I think in that case, you're well within your right to say that this is, be firm that it is an urban policy. And
you can just say, I'm more comfortable going through urban, if that's okay with you. You can find my availability directly on the platform. You can also message me through the platform if you want to ask me for a specific time when I'm available. So just so they know that they have that functionality. But I know a lot of our therapists do that already. So yeah, maybe someone can give advice on that, who's closer to this than I am and who's been in this situation before. Yeah, so Kyria is saying it's against our policies.
Yeah, exactly. And then what else have we got here? So when will therapists be able to rate clients?
Yeah, rating clients. It is. I think this will be part of a bigger work that we need to do around ratings and reviews. Again, another kind of favorite topic on the forum, which is how how reviews and ratings are calculated, which is something we also want to pick up in the new year. So we'll be looking at that point. There's also a survey that is going to be coming your way very soon around therapist safety on urban. So we're just trying to understand what are the things that would make you feel safer working on urban. And so I think that typically, like, this is a suggestion that could go into that survey so that we can, take it into consideration as well.
Yeah. And then a comment from Nats there saying, going off topic, but is there any news on adding different treatments to a massage, such as cupping, aromatherapy, etc.?
Yeah, so new treatments is always something that we're kind of like looking at, but that also take a bit of time to implement. And we also always need to see if we have enough people on the platform who can offer it before we make it available, just to avoid like frustrating experiences for customers who would try to book it and never find anyone. So right now, like the first ones that we are trying to launch this side of the year is pregnancy. So we want to have like a specific pregnancy category with prenatal, postnatal massage, also some women's physio, osteo, and yes, and like, because we know that the demand is there, and we do have quite a lot of you who are brilliant at doing pregnancy massage and already qualified. The other one that we are looking into is oncology massage. Although from the looks of it, I think not a lot of you are qualified in oncology massage. So we're looking at ways to, partner up with some schools and some, training providers to help you do that. We really like oncology massage is something that's really important for us and close to our hearts, because we do get requests from clients, and there's nothing more heartbreaking than having to turn down someone who's looking for an oncology massage because, we don't have anyone available right now who can do it. So we really want to push that one. Then in the new year, yes, we'll be looking at other things like cupping, aromatherapy, which I think, especially aromatherapy, would go well with like trying to find some nice brands to partner up with to do that with.
Yeah, definitely. And then just another comment, are we still okay with therapists working part-time hours?
By part-time, do you mean kind of like not doing all of your work on urban, or just adding, like a few hours a week? We are okay with it, obviously. You can, like, the main thing about urban is that you can choose the times that you want to work, and you can organize your work as you want to. So, you're free to put as many hours or as little hours as you want on the platform. We just recommend putting big enough blocks of availability so that it's easier for customers to find you, because a customer might be looking for like a specific time, and just because, 30 minutes like either side, you miss out on that booking. So yeah, I would say if you're working part-time, try to group your hours.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. And just another question, which is in more high demand, oncology massage or lymphatic drainage?
Well, lymphatic drainage, obviously,
Yeah.
because a lot more. There are a lot more people, who want to book it and who are concerned by the treatment than oncology. But yeah, I think also on another note, if we go for oncology massage, though the approach wouldn't be commercial, it wouldn't be more, what can we do as like this community of highly expert people in massage to help cancer patients or recovering cancer patients with some of the aches and pains that they might be feeling, and help them feel better. So like we'll try and see if we can partner up with a charity or do something uh, basically for each of and every one of us to do our bit as well.
Definitely. And then Andrea asking, are we going to update the app? I've lost a lot of customers due to rebook option. Also, some of them are unable to book with me, even if I am available.
If you ever have kind of like issues like this with the app, just take a screenshot and send it to customer support, because it might be that there's something like specific, like maybe your version of the app isn't the latest one, or the phone you're using isn't compatible with something that we've recently released. So if you ever have an issue like that with the app, or if you think that people cannot find you, take a screenshot, send it to customer support, and we'll look into it for you.
Great. And another question here, on weekends, morning and noon, can you change from standard to peak for prices, please?
Yeah, so the weekends now, just to show you the grid, the weekends now are all in peak, so all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just lots of happy people in the comments. It seems like this is the change that you guys wanted to see. So yeah, everyone seems quite pleased, and lots of comments about the lymphatic drainage, the oncology massage as well. I think lots of interest around that, which is good to see too.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of this. Again, you'll receive more detail via email with the detailed prices, the detailed changes that we've made, and also some more information about in your particular case, how much more you can expect to earn. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
And your inbox,
Yeah.
confirmations coming soon. And I think that's all the questions. That's everything that I've had come in. So thank you very much for joining us today. And hopefully everyone can get out and enjoy a bit of sunshine in between their appointments today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Louise.
Cheers, you.